Namaste and welcome to today's video. Today I'm just gonna talk, so if you want, you can sit with me in a comfortable position or you can keep on doing what you do and just listen. Today I want to talk on the topic of yoga and give you a little introduction. So, yoga is an ancient teaching of philosophy through which we can achieve self-realization and ultimately enlightenment. So enlightenment is the liberation from the tyranny of your mind and is a state of oneness with you and the universe. It's a state of bliss. So the first yogi who discovered this path was Shiva, and Shiva was living 10,000 to 15,000 years ago. And as Shiva was so amazed that he discovered this blissfulness and state of oneness, he wanted to share it with his disciples. But the first written text about yoga was actually written by Patanjali, and he wrote down the Yoga Sutras, which are 195 verses in the language of Sanskrit, and they describe the essence of the path of yoga. So all the books nowadays and the literature is usually based on the first ancient text, the first written text we have about yoga, because before it was just taught and given the wisdom by the mouth and by a guru, like a teacher. And usually, if you want to follow this path in its wholeness, you should always seek a guru, a teacher who can guide you with his wisdom. So back to the Yoga Sutras, where Patanjali wrote the 8 limbs of yoga. So one limb we already might know, which is our asanas, the postures which we do in the yoga classes. But there are 7 more pillars which are important to achieve the ultimate truth. Patanjali wrote the 8 limbs of yoga, and the first one is yama, which are abstinences, then niyama, which are observances, then asana, which are our yoga postures, then pranayama, which is the breath control, pratyahara, which is withdrawal of senses, dharana, which is the concentration, dhyana, which is the meditation, and finally samadhi, which is the absorption or the state of ultimate truth and enlightenment. So obviously he describes every limb in itself, what to do and how to achieve. But I just want to give you a little overview of what the philosophy of yoga holds. So these limbs are from outside to inside, like it starts with how you should behave with the surroundings, then how you should behave with your body, how you should behave with your mind or what you have to do with your breath, and then obviously meditation, and finally the enlightenment. So one important word in context of yoga is the word prana, and prana is the energy which flows within you. And I'm not talking about electricity. Well, electricity also is in our body, obviously, but it is an energy which is your life force. And we can influence our energy, like our prana, by what we eat and what people we surround us, what other energies we surround us with, and how we treat our body, and how our thoughts come. What is also important to know is through the prana, you can control your thoughts. And if you're able to control your thoughts, you would be able to finally realize yourself, to finally see that you're not the body or your mind, that you are the watcher which can observe everything and you're not attached to this physical existence or your thoughts. So you have to imagine in terms of your mind and the prana that it is like a wind, and you cannot see wind usually. You can just see the tree in the wind waving, so that's how you know there is wind. So now imagine your mind is a lake, and waves on the lakes are the thoughts, and your prana is the wind. So if your wind, your prana, your energy is unbalanced and very furious, you will have a lot of waves, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thought traffic going around. So if we are able to control the wind, the prana, through the path of yoga, we can calm our waves down, we can calm our thoughts down, and finally our lake will be completely still. And then we can see ourselves like in a mirror in the lake reflecting. We come to the ultimate realization of ourselves. So what I also want to say on the path of realization of yoga is asanas are obviously also an important role to keep our body free from blockages so the prana can be balanced and move freely through our body and our nadis. But it's not the only thing we need to do. As the 8 limbs describe everything that would be needed to be done to achieve the ultimate truth. So I just wanted to give you a little overview. I'm nor a guru or enlightened, I'm just also on my path and just want to share thoughts with you. So the path of yoga gives us the tools to calm the thoughts down and to keep our body healthy, and to finally realize that we are the watcher. We are the instance which can see our mind and see our body and see everything around us without being attached and without judgment. And it can also help to calm you down if you're generally stressed, because we can influence our thoughts and our mind and the unsteadiness with our breath. So I just wanted to give you a little overview. If you want me to explain a little more detailed, you can write me in the comments down below. And of course, also if you want to add something or if you have any suggestions, you can leave it in the comments down below. And I can recommend you the book Hatha Yoga Pradipika with the commentary of Svami Vishnudevananda. It explains the path of yoga amazingly. Obviously, we covered just a tiny little bit of the whole subject, so feel free to read yourself through literature. Namaste, and thank you for listening. If you liked it, you can give me a thumbs up and subscribe.